Some of us grew up in a face me, face you house.
Where interaction was very high.
But we are losing it right now. People don't just want to go out. We are losing the community living. Some of us are now coming back to it. It's something that customers are looking for. So people just want to live in a sane environment, but it come at a cost.
You sometimes can't have it all.
There should be a deal breaker for you.
There's no use building all the amenities and saying come and live here when it is not affordable for the target market.
That conversation led to a big fight in my class. Why some people are talking about affordable housing, some are having conversation around social housing. Lately, I've seen the impact. Somebody's going to land in the village very soon. I'm on the band A and
the popular band A.
Yeah, I know what my use per month looks like, and I'll still pay for fuel. By the time I had those two numbers,
we are trying to identify things that as developers we can do, and also hopefully also inspire other developers listening to this podcast as to how they need to pull people in to see how they can pay for these houses that are not so affordable. With about 15 plus estates or so and counting, okay, 20,
yeah,
you've definitely done a lot. Your payment plan stretches to 36 months. And that gives people more flexibility. It will be at a cost to you to actually offer that kind of long payment plan. Financing something over 36 months is more expensive. Long-term planning now is 6 months in Nigeria.
Has there been any 8 weeks that nothing changes in cost of materials?
In recent times, no. Okay, we're building a 54-unit property. We had been building majorly with 9 inches. The switch to 6 inches in areas where it is actually structurally sound to do so has saved us a considerable sum. For me, innovation is not something big. It is when you look at areas where you can actually optimize for cost. All right, it's a very wonderful new episode of Square Meter Stories. Square Meter Stories is a podcast birthed by Detail Apartments where ideas, topics, and trends pertaining to real estate are discussed and simplified for your understanding. Real estate is a proven strategy to building wealth, hedging inflation, and securing your future. Now, to be very successful at real estate, you need the right information to take key decisions. So, the objective of the podcast is to demystify the many mysteries, ambiguities, and complexities that exist in real estate so that by giving you the right information, you can make the right decisions and build your own future. Now, today's episode is a banger. Permit me to use that word because I'm very excited for the guest that we have in the studio. None other than my own friend and colleague, Toby Oshonuga. He is the MD, CEO of Chateau Real Estate. You're very welcome to the program.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here once again. Oh, I've not been here before, so it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, the first of many episodes, hopefully, because we're going to dive deep into some things, some topics, that would uncover the many challenges and also opportunities that exist in real estate. But before we go on, I'll just read a very brief profile of Toby Oshonuga, the MD of Chateau Royal Real Estate. So here's his profile. Oshonuga Oluwatobi is the Managing Director of Chateau Royal Real Estate Limited, member of International Real Estate Federation, FIABCI, and several other enterprises. Prior to the above, Oluwatobi worked with the sales and marketing department of several real estate firms in Nigeria. Under his tenure, the businesses witnessed significant success and growth. Oluwatobi is a responsible, self-driven, self-evaluated, credible, result-oriented individual with a positive outlook and a clear focus on high quality. He's a natural forward planner who critically assesses his own performance, an empathic communicator, an incurable optimist, and always keen on acquiring a new experience. He's a promoter of innovation, strategic, and creative without believing in limitations. Oluwatobi is a young, unassuming entrepreneur with over a decade of experience in the business development world. Oluwatobi is an alumnus of University of Calabar, University of Lagos, with core in economics and housing, development, and management. Also, he has several other professional certifications in business development and management. He also has taken courses in advanced real estate management, sales and marketing, and leadership from Lagos Business School. So much about this very young and very dynamic entrepreneur that I call a friend and professional colleague. You're welcome once again.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so we'll dive into so many things, in today's podcast. Real estate is fraught with so many challenges.
Yeah.
But, on the other side of challenges, there are opportunities.
Yeah.
And as a property developer yourself, you have quite a lot of experience. I mean, it's even how we kind of kick things off in our relationship, knowing each other over the many years. So I want you to just do a kind of an abridged introduction of who Oluwatobi is. I mean, the person behind the profile the very impressive profile I've read, and also the things that you have done in real estate till date.
All right, so it's a pleasure to be here once again, and I could say for free that I've been a very resilient individual and very incurable optimist, like I said earlier on. That for me, one of the things that encapsulates my person is my value system around real estate. Now, and how did I even get into the space? I grew up in a 12, 13 square meter room in the first 21 years of my life. And that shaped a whole lot that for us to ever scale, we must be very deliberate about the future. And I've seen how real estate has metamorphosed from whatever it used to be to what it is right now. And you have to get to a point that it has to be a game changer. And the reality is already in front of us, where an average low earning person might not be able to live in a decent environment. And the reality is there already. So those are the things that have pushed, and those are the vision pushing Chateau Royal Real Estate right now to make sure that the housing deficit is huge, is loud. It's when we see the number, it's not just statistics, it's our reality right now. And when we begin to see all those things come to our very front, it's it put pressure on me and you to begin to become very, very innovative on way out of this. And those are the things that have evolved majorly. Have evolved into making sure that I contribute my quota within the real estate space. And I think we are doing our bit, and we believe that together we can do so much more. Yeah.
You're very right on one thing. The deficits in terms of the houses that need to be provided in Nigeria is staggering. I mean, last check I know was 20 million, and I think those numbers are very conservative, right?
Honestly, I don't look at the numbers again. I just get to work, because trust me, the numbers is mind-blowing to what they are throwing in our faces. The realities are there. Check the realities, they are there. Check rentals.
And so it presents an opportunity for people like you and I, who are into development, to bring innovations and ways that we can mitigate the many challenges. Because I will say for free that real estate has practiced as short as 2-3 years ago is not the same kind of challenges that we are facing right now.
No, it's not.
It's a whole lot that's been thrown in our faces.
It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot from, I don't say rising inflation, I say hyperinflation, FX volatility, and rising material cost is choking.
I mean, it seems like every single day there is a new fire to put out. Every single day there's a new battle to fight in terms of how to get materials and which are the key components of construction. Just before we came on the set, we were talking about the price of cement. Very, very funny, because as little as I would say 2 years ago, cement was trading for just about 3,000-4,000 naira. Yeah. And then you were asking me how much I bought cement just last week, and I said it was about 10,000.
I'm wondering how we got to 10,000 plus for a bag of cement.
So, with about 15 plus estates or so and counting, am I right?
Yeah.
Or is the number more than that?
Around 20.
Okay, 20.
Yeah.
You've definitely done a lot. How are you managing the present realities of hyperinflation, of FX volatility, and the ever-rising cost of materials in your real estate?
So I think innovation and adaptation is very key right now. You build smart. No time for unnecessary. You build functionally. Now, looking at what our reality is. Now, I did my master's in housing management and development, some of my classmates were also developers, and we're having conversation around social housing, affordable
Affordable housing. Now, house
housing,
is really affordable, you know.
affordable housing. Trust me, that conversation led to a big fight in my class. While some people are talking about affordable housing, some are having conversation around social housing, some are, and the bottom line was this: there's nothing called affordable housing any longer. The class has been squashed, and the reality is there. Case in point, to buy a titled land in the Lagos of today, how much do you think it is?
I mean, anywhere from maybe 10 million above. And we're talking about the very remote areas.
Exactly.
Very remote areas, yes.
And I don't think you will get a titled land in the Lagos of today for a 10 million naira.
No, absolutely not. You have to
don't
go
think
perfect
so.
to yourself. Yes.
Exactly. And the Lagos we are building, the cosmopolitan nature we are transcending into in Lagos, you must have a title before you build. Meaning that you will not build without a titled land. One. Case two, for you to have a titled land, you should be ranging at least an average of 25 million naira.
So let me pick up on that point, you know, because you can't develop without having a title land. You also are doing something illegal if you develop without approvals.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at what the government is trying to do, you know, because of course they claim that they are trying to simplify the process.
Yeah.
Where approvals these days, I mean, they claim you can get it out in 28 days. But how much work has the government done in terms of easing the bottlenecks, the policy bottlenecks, the regulatory bottlenecks in simplifying the process so that developers like you and I can probably deliver these houses cheaper? Has it been a smooth
So
operation?
it's two things.
All
You
right.
talk about, is it being cheaper or being fast to get your approval? So I think the government is doing a whole lot right now in now in virtually all the local governments in Lagos. You have a desk, more or less like a one-stop desk around. In that area, they are doing a whole lot to make sure that but you cannot even pass seamlessly without the title land anyway.
No, you cannot.
So meaning that you have to die some die before you even start dying some die. Meaning that you have to pass through the titling before you even start
The
processing your title.
approvals, correct.
That's processing the title is another case.
Yes,
The fee for that title is another case entirely.
absolutely. Absolutely. And everything builds on the cost of the house itself, yeah?
Exactly.
So, you know, why this is a little bit a touch point for me is if you're talking about where we started from, the huge housing deficit that we have,
Yeah.
and the need to bring more housing units to the market, we also have a challenge of affordability. Because just 2 years ago, you could buy a very decent property for maybe 25, 30 million. But the case is not the case anymore.
In 2017, I bought a land for someone, one of my sister. She stays outside this country. I helped her do block work.
Okay.
So they molded the block on site
Yeah.
at, I think at 170 naira per
Thereabouts.
Per block.
170, 160
150,
naira.
170
I remember that era,
thereabouts.
yes. I do.
right now. So they built a 4-unit of 2-bed,
Okay.
and we had all the block to finish the building.
Yes.
Standing on site.
Yes.
So do you know how much one block is right now? For 9.
I know a block is about 850, 900 naira, depending on the quality of the block.
Sir,
Yeah.
we vibrated 800,
Yes.
900.
Yes.
How many do you think you will need for a 3-bedroom? Interestingly, you are
I'm an architect,
you are an
right?
architect,
So I know the numbers. So to do that, you need about, say, 2,500, 3,000 blocks. You multiply that by about 1,000. You know, on average, you have about just 3 million alone on block work.
just on block work.
On block work, yes.
Just on block work.
Yes.
There are other elements. Iron is there.
Yes.
Granite is there.
Cement
is
is
there.
there.
Sharp sand is
Yes.
there. And all these elements are choking.
Yes.
And the unfortunate part is that they come in stages. So even if you buy them down, you can't really buy them down because you
Yes.
may not have a site to keep them.
Yes.
And theft is another issue.
Oh, that's a whole nother issue. We're going to talk about that. I mean, how you
Theft
navigate
is,
that as well, because
theft is another issue.
exactly.
Now, to do all of that, and you now call a house that you built for, let's say, assume that you build a 4-bedroom terrace, a 4-bedroom fully detached in the remote of the remote in Lagos. Let me say, where is remote in Lagos? Interestingly, funny enough, there's no way remote in Lagos.
There really isn't any remote place
because
here.
it's scary. There's nowhere called remote anywhere in Lagos.
Yes.
Do you want to call Onosa remote?
No.
Do you want to call Latishe?
Do you want to call a Lekki remote? Do you want to call Ekpe remote?
Do you want to call Ekpe
No,
remote?
it's not anymore.
Do you want to call Araromi remote?
No,
Do you want to call Lekki town remote? Do you want to call after Alaro City? Do you want to call it remote?
No.
Exactly. So it's also exciting to know that Lagos has massively opened up. So where you used to call remote,
Yes.
it's no more remote.
Yes.
What me and you used to call remote 4-5 years ago. I know how Monastery Road emerged now. In 2014,
Yes.
when we are going to that monastery, when you go down, that road was, I think in 2013, about that road wasn't there. You drive down, by the time you are turning that left,
Yes. Was all sandy,
it
swampy.
wasn't sandy.
No,
It wasn't
swampy, I'm
sandy.
sorry.
It wasn't swampy.
There was no
It
road
was
there.
a river.
Oh, a river.
We used canoe
Okay.
from that turn left. We
Okay.
use canoe from that junction
Okay.
to wherever we are going.
You know, funny thing,
2013, 2014, we use canoe.
you know, it's very interesting that you mentioned this point, and it's very amazing how quickly time flies and you forget how it was yesterday. I actually do remember that 2015, when I came around Monastery and I started doing something there, you know, then for a developer, building for a developer. I remember seeing a swamp boogie right at the end of the road.
By one
Which-
of our very own gracious.
Okay, gracious.
Yes.
That was the only means by which they could clear the road, create a road to Sanfield, and that's what you have.
And she did a fantastic job on that road.
I see.
But then, that's 10 years, over 10 years ago.
Okay, so let's talk about, you know, because for me, you know, on the other side of challenge, like I said, is opportunity.
Yeah.
And even though we talk about how material prices are through the roof, we try to single out the elements that make up a building and see how everything adds up to what isn't an affordable house. There are still opportunities, so to speak. I want to know, you know, from a developer's perspective, you know, for us at the Detail Apartment, we are very big on value engineering. We are very big on reassessing our methods of construction because you must still deliver these houses. The houses are
Anyhow
needed.
you want to do.
You must still deliver the houses.
Yeah.
So what are some innovative things? Some people, for example, are talking about modular construction. Some people are talking about prefabricated construction. While technologically, it may not be very economical to do such, but what kind of things are you doing, you know, to manage construction costs?
So most importantly first, we'll take the part of do a core functional spaces.
Yes.
And also we make sure that it's energy efficient. Meaning that in your house, we have good lighting system that you don't have to use a whole lot of energy within the housing spaces. We now have flexible payment plan. Flexible as 36 months.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So in that 36 months window, you should have been able to structure, if you really, really are interested in owning a piece of a house in Lagos, you should have been able to structure your life around it. And, you know, we have different people that come through cooperative, through grouping, through husband and wife joining forces together. Imagine husband and wife that have a 36 months payment plan to do. So that one too is there. Lastly, on that same model, we also give the option of, you know what, we'll give you all the exterior of the building, but the inside, there are some components we will not do. So that you can take your time and do it as it pleases.
All right. All right. All right.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So you can do it as it pleases. So those payment plans, flexible, so we call our own custom buildings.
Okay.
So we do all your exterior. So you just come into your house, we'll do your entry door, exit door, do your internal doors when you have money, do your tiling when you have money, do your POP when you have money, do your sanitaries when you have money, do your cabinets when you have money, do your kitchen cabs when you have money, It's your house.
Yes.
Do as it pleases.
Yes.
So we've tried as much as possible to reduce the pressure. So just pay for the house, don't worry. And every other thing you can do as you like. So we've been able to walk at that path, and for some people it really, really do make a lot of sense.
I'll come in at this point, because you touched on a very, very, I'll call it my sweet spot, architecture. Everything starts from design. And if you have a very dysfunctional design, you can't build optimally. If it's functional enough, then you can build just what people want, because when you build and the spaces aren't very functional, then you just realize that all of a sudden you are trying to expend money on things that you shouldn't expend money on. One of the practices that, for example, our detail apartments that we try to do with our own work is where, for example, you would have used a 9-inch block. We have been forced to reevaluate to say, why not use 6 inches blocks? But the truth of the matter is 6 inches is cheaper than 9 inches. And places where you could have used 9 and you now use 6, you saved on cost.
You save on cost, you save on space.
You save on space as well, So the space is a little bit bigger, the cost is a little bit better, and then you can price appropriately. The very funny thing about development is that with all the increasing costs, you are unable as a developer to add and pass those costs to the end user, which is the person that buys the house. But people are price sensitive. People still want value. And you as a developer as well, you want to also deliver a project that can give a good return.
Yeah.
You want to be able to say, I sold this house at 50. And this person, after 18 months, is selling at 75. Because that is an incentive for the person to key into your project. So let's talk about energy efficiency. Everybody's going solar now.
Yeah.
Is this something that you're also embracing? Because, nobody likes running on fuel, on diesel. What are you doing in your estates to reduce the cost of energy?
So interestingly, right, this conversation just started coming up lately. In our Olive Vine, it wasn't infused.
Okay.
When we started out,
right.
But we're open to have conversations with some industry leaders, having a pathway for those conversations, and we are beginning to have all those conversations come to play. So I believe we can work around it.
Yeah.
I'm open right now because I've seen the impact in my residence. Before now I run on Gen and I'm on the band A and
the popular band A.
Yeah, and I know what my use per month looks like. And not only on band A, I'll pay for whatever and I'll still pay for fuel. By the time I had those two numbers, somebody's going to land in the village very soon. So when the conversation around renewable energy,
yes,
and it came up, I had to do a deeper search, and we took that step in my house in January.
Yeah.
And I regret not taking the decision like 10 years ago.
You see, one of the things that we try to also preach, in bringing houses, developments to end users is they need to be energy efficient. And so part of what we like to advise clients or customers is consider installing an inverter system. Maybe I would say 2-3 years ago was a very expensive thing to do, but it is, when you look at the investment that you put in today and what you would save by doing so, like your own example, you said you are saving a lot of money now on the fuel and everything I used to buy.
I'm saving more than 50% of what I used to use.
It is the way to go. Now, let me bring this conversation to what you've noticed, with all the work that we try to do, in delivering houses and delivering value, managing costs. What exactly, in your experience these days, do customers, that's the people who buy houses, homeowners, what do they look out for in developments? Because that's also a very, very interesting.
So majorly, location is very key.
Location remains very key.
Number 2, people looking at the functionality of the home. People looking at the infrastructure to support their livability for that project. People look at, apart from the location, they want to look at which kind of estate is surrounding me, meaning that beyond my personal estate, I also want to have same kind of premium minded people within my estate. Imagine you
Right.
wake up in the morning and you're taking a jog outside your estate and you're jogging with somebody from another estate. It gives a lot of comfort, right? And it makes some of us, right? It's so funny. I was speaking with my mom over a few weeks ago. Some of us grew up in a face me face you house.
Where interaction was very high. I mean, you
Inter-
interact with your neighbors. Yes.
you when you're coming from school, even if your parent is not home, another mother will give you food before your mother comes.
That's correct.
In short, they will help you do your assignment. They will bath for you,
Very
and you will
correct.
have slept before your
Before
mother.
your parents come and then
before
they
your
take
parent
you to bed.
They will make you a bed in your own house. So when your parents come, as they are greeting, ó ti jẹun, ó ti sùn, ó ti ṣe assignment ẹ̀. So your parent will now take it up the following morning when you wake up. But we are losing it right now. We are losing the community living. So, but right now, some of us are now coming back to it. So it's something that customers are looking for.
The
Beyond
sense
only
of community.
the sense of
what
community.
you do to incorporate that community living within the estate.
Then you
itself.
now begin to have infrastructure like a gym environment within the estate. You have a supermarket within the estate. You have a swimming pool. You have a playground. You have a lounge
Yes.
within the estate.
Yes.
You have people don't just want to go out. Now we have work from home thing that started since 2020.
Yes.
People don't want to go to work every day. They just want to work, not even from their house. They just want to go to one corner coffee shop or corner shops within the estate to work from there. So people are looking for something communal
Yep.
that they can trust, that their personal security will not be in a threat. Do you understand?
Yes.
The battery of my car is not stolen.
Yes.
They did not remove the extra tire of my car. So people just want to live in a sane environment, but it comes at a cost.
So I was going to go there, because these many things that you all said, that you mentioned, you said good infrastructure, providing a gym facility within the estate. You have a place where location is very, very key. All these things come at a cost. But sometimes, in development, and the way I like to look at it is, you sometimes can't have it all. But you must be able to select and combine all these elements
There
in
should
a
be
way
a
that's
deal breaker
appealing.
for you.
There should be a deal breaker. But I'm also saying that you sometimes may have to give up the mini-mart, because maybe there may be a nearby mom-pop shop, that would also be a selling point, so to speak. If there's a big gym, a stone throw from your development, why provide a gym? So I'm saying, while all these things are very, very good, you also have to look at the cost, benefit analysis, to the customer. Because if the customer, for example, is saying your house is too expensive, there's no use building all the amenities and saying, okay, come and live here, when it is not affordable for the target market. So, it's something you also have to balance, right?
It's quite a lot of work.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Because even buy the land is not cheap. Because imagine somebody says, I was speaking with a customer, I said, I need a 3-bedroom apartment that is maybe 15-20 million naira. And I told the person, yes, you'll get in Abeokuta.
In Ibadan.
No, even Ibadan. The current Ibadan you may not get.
Okay.
Maybe you get towards going to Shaki, or you get to Iseyin, you'll get. Because the reality is this. These things expensive.
Times have changed.
The things you need
changed.
is money they used to buy it.
Yes. Times have changed.
You have a land that has a CFO that you bought from someone, you want to do your governance consent, you know how much it costs.
Absolutely.
You want to do any infrastructure that the government has not done road there. And you, the developer, you have to do the road there. It's a cost.
So let me now bring this in, because I'm also trying to carefully balance our conversation where, of course, these challenges are there, but we
Yeah.
are trying to identify things that as developers we can do, and also hopefully also inspire other developers listening to this podcast as to how they need to pull people in to see how they can afford or how they can pay for these houses that are not so affordable. You mentioned something, you said your payment plan stretches to 36 months. And that gives people more flexibility, in looking at their budgets, looking at their financing and saying, this is how I can spread
But as a
payments to
developer,
do
you
this.
be looking at your numbers
Oh,
real
yeah.
time.
So I was going to go there, because it will be at a cost to you, for example, Chateau
Yeah.
Royale,
Yeah.
to afford or to actually offer that kind of long payment plan, because financing something over 36 months is more expensive than financing it over
a case
24
in
months.
point, the FX volatility happened in 2023 when our honorable president announced that
Yes.
what's called subsidy is gone, and the fuel we used to buy at 190
Yeah.
moved to 1,000, 1,100, 1,200.
Yes.
And now I think we are buying at 925, I've been 930
Thereabouts.
right now, thereabout.
Yes.
So we can see that. So, but when a developer fixes his 36 month that time, he fixes it thinking that the price of fuel will remain at that. But now they've shocked him.
See, the thing about it, is that we live in a very complex, volatile economy.
Yeah.
And you cannot plan. You have to plan. Maybe long-term planning now is 6 months in Nigeria. Before that, it could be, say, okay,
I will ask you,
3 months.
has there been any, doing a project, has there been any 8 weeks that nothing changes in cost of materials?
In recent times, no. Okay, so, and that's, in recent times, no. And so that's why, the conversation, and, I said something on the back of how we are managing cost is a constant process of reevaluating how we construct, how we build. I want to make a point. Reevaluating that and also seeing ways that we can reduce cost. I'll tell you a story, what happened on site. Prior to the spike in materials, we had been building majorly with 9 inches. But you see, the switch to 6 inches in areas where it is actually structurally sound to do so has saved us a considerable sum. We're building a 54-unit property not so far away from yours, Harley Vine in Sangotedo. And we've seen the cost savings that we have been able to achieve by making that one simple correction. That one, and for me, innovation is not something big. It's not until we change the entire thing. It is when you look at areas where you can actually optimize for cost.
Yeah.
But back to your point, again, on how we are managing cost, how difficult it is, to manage cost itself. What do you think a developer today can do in holding his price at a point where the person who you're selling to can still buy? Because you don't want to price yourself out of the market. What other options do developers have? Is there really any other option?
So the thing is this, right? It's a little bit complex than that. Because imagine somebody that is on 36 months and prices has moved past you by over 500% within that time frame, and you did not see that coming. You are in trouble, honestly. So, honest conversations.
Yes.
You can also speak with the customer. Because this reality is not my beat.
But those conversations are not easy, right?
No. Honestly, I don't like having. Interestingly, I don't do that conversation, and I don't like having it. But when the ship come to shore, sometimes you just need to have that conversation.
And how are these customers? How are the homeowners, the subscribers? How are they really taking to this kind of conversations? Are some really are they agreeing
people
to it?
you end up being in court, but for some that are reasonable and sensible, that's where in the time we have right now, there's something they call relationship selling. It's now relationship selling. Because if I sell a house to you at 20 million, and for me to finish that house, I'll spend 60 million naira. Honestly, I will not pass that 40 million to you, because maybe that that's or my fault or my part that I didn't do my math well. That's why I said earlier on that
Yes.
when you are doing those 36 months, whatever, you have to really be looking.
You have to
Your
know the
number,
numbers. Yeah.
your number has to be really, really numbering that
Yes.
you are not running the
Your
trouble.
numbers must
But-
number. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
in the real sense,
Yeah.
your number may not number again with our new reality.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
our advice, if you can't have conversation, please have conversation.
Mm.
And the other one that if you can return people's money back,
Yes.
100%, please
Yes.
do return people's
So
money back.
let me pick up that conversation, because it's a very difficult one, and
It is.
there's a side of being ethical, saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. But the policy, per the contract I entered into, I want to exercise this option of refunding your money. But what that does to hurt your brand equity in the eyes of that customer.
No, so the
You need
other
to
part
balance
to it
right?
is that I'll give you an interest on it.
Okay, you give an interest.
No,
in
I'll
that.
give you an interest
All right,
on it because I'd collected your money for over a period of time and we could negotiate interest because the reality in my face is that I may not be able to deliver to you.
Yes. Okay.
And
Okay.
I may have to sell one of my assets to deliver to you.
Right.
Imagine I sold it to you at 20 million.
Yes.
And I'm to deliver at 60 million now.
Yes.
Okay, I could pass you maybe 15 million and take 25.
Okay.
That's fair enough to you.
Yes.
So that,
Yes.
because the brand, see, the thing is this, it's biting everybody.
It is.
Everybody is in that WhatsApp group.
Everybody's in the WhatsApp group.
Everybody is in that WhatsApp group.
I've never heard it put that way before.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
like that.
everybody is in that WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Because, a case in point, the cement you bought in your rented apartment for 2,000 naira
Yes.
4-5 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm buying it for 10,200, 10,003 right now.
Yes. Correct. Correct.
And when we locked, but I try as much as possible making sure that there's equity
Yeah.
dealing with client because trust me, if you do not I love the tagline of Sterling Bank that says that one bank customer. They just want to treat one person well
Yes.
so that they can replicate. So I also love the fact that I want to treat people well. You must not leave me with bad experiences.
Yes.
You must leave with something good to say about me, that I didn't defraud you. Because trust me, the volatility and the things that is fighting me in the world of real estate
Yes. Yes.
are sometimes bigger than me. And it's not that I didn't envisage them. I saw it coming, but I didn't know that it's that long. And that's the reality of every developer that's been developed in the last 4 years in this Lagos. Everybody is under pressure. Everybody, we have developers forums that we have conversations. People are badly bleeding.
Yes.
And customers are not having it.
And they're not. I think the story is not even properly told because we're unable to express how badly hit.
You cannot express it now because you collected somebody's money.
Nobody wants to know.
Exactly. Just deliver. Oh God,
Just
deliver my
deliver.
house and let me go. Or whatever you're saying trash. But honestly, when you see a developer, give them money. People are going through stuff. I had a conversation with a developer that I think we're even still talking about few instances that happened to some of your projects. Imagine that you have sold and people are living in that building.
Yes.
And something like that happened. What will you say?
It's very tough.
They will say it's your fault.
Yeah.
Yes, it is your fault. Again, it's not my fault. Because I did all my due diligence. I did all my due checks.
Yes.
It was tick, 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 tick. But things happen. But I'm excited that the Lagos State government are very proactive right now and they are having conversations at the very top level on all these things. Things just need to change. Come into breaking down. I think federal government is having that conversation around 774 local governments in this country.
Yep.
Come down, break down materials, bring it to a BRS minimum so that people can build affordable.
Yes.
So that developer can build reasonably. So that the price of building is not out of place. Because the cost of land already is a lot of pressure.
Yes, it is.
We just mentioned it right now. To get a title land in anywhere in Lagos right now, anywhere in Lagos, titled land, 25 million naira, titled land. That's if you are not going to go and even do covenant consent again. Anyway, titled land, 25 million naira. How many people can boast of a 20-25 million naira. It's tough.
It's very tough, yeah.
And what is the average? Then don't let us even go to minimum wage. Is a that one is another. That one is back of conversation. But even people earning some money, can they actually buy? But this is our reality. So, but if we can look at the cost of those materials, trust me, all these things will drive themselves down.
I want to talk about something, let me just even totally switch now topics, to, we've talked about how unaffordable prices are. I hear you. It's difficult to deliver a particular project. It's even difficult for an average worker to afford a house. But there are other ways in which they can enter into these investments.
Yeah.
People can come together.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, an investment remains, a vehicle where funds are pulled together. It could be with your own colleagues, it could be with family. You enter into for the purpose of exiting at a higher what?
Yeah.
At a higher rate.
Yeah.
At some profit. So I want to talk about land banking. The practices of land banking. Real estate is a sure asset class.
Yeah.
It is something you can touch, something you can feel.
Yeah.
Unlike asset classes that are so volatile.
Yeah.
Very recently, there's this topic of CBEX, right? And how lots of people's money have decimated.
So that shows us how, I don't want to say how greedy some people are. I want to say how...
Well, gullible?
How even selfish
yes.
we people are.
To ourselves?
1.3 trillion missing in an economy. And we keep saying there's no money.
Oh, there's money in this country. Obviously, there's money. But
I've never heard that CBEX.
I'll say
so I was just seeing everywhere Boston. I now have to ask my cousin.
What's the CBEX, right?
He said, Egbon, you don't know. I said, I don't know. I said, you will give this. I said, that's the problem. Don't catch them. Some people just like quick returns. And trust me, I have learned the hard way. It's never sustainable.
Yes. And real estate remains a very sure way because real estate builds wealth gradually, but surely, but definitely. Unlike, the CBEX, where I would say it's like the biggest heist in recent times, the biggest money heist.
And honestly, when I saw $855 million,
yes.
I thought it was a meme, I thought it was a joke. And I began to read. I was like, what? Wait. We actually have this money.
So it goes to show that there's money people have that they can pull together because whatever number of people aggregated the 835 million.
Yeah.
Think about if just 10% had been diverted into real estate.
True.
Because this is something that can never disappear.
But I think some of us are just gullible.
No, I think it's human nature. But let me explain, okay? Let me explain.
Some of us have left ours of no.
Let me explain because critically thinking, if somebody promises a return, and they say you will make 100% in an instant, there's this AI-enabled algorithm that trades on your behalf, where it does the thinking for you, and then it gives you 100% on whatever fraction of the money that you invest over time. Versus real estate that appreciates. It may be slow, but sometimes it can take off. But it is something that is traceable. It's something you can touch. So what my own point is, in as much as we say things are expensive, things are hard, people have money that can be aggregated, probably corporately, probably in groups, probably, but you can put all of those monies in real estate, land banking, even corporately.
Even beyond land banking, there's something we call co-ownership.
Co-ownership, thank you very much. So explain that.
Structure. Yeah. Right. There's a house. How much is it? 20 million naira.
No, don't say 50 because you don't have a 20 million anymore. 50 million.
All right. 50 million naira.
Yes.
And we work in an organization and 10 of us can come together and say, oh, you know what, guys? Let's do a 3 years plan and for 50 million naira. So maybe if we break it down, maybe each and every one of us will be going for maybe 5 million naira.
If we're 10, that would be 5 million.
5 million naira.
So by a 3
years. Yeah. Do you know that if we both agree to open an SPV, put all our names inside that SPV.
Exactly.
Use that SPV to buy
special purpose vehicles for those who
we
are
now
listening.
use it to buy an asset from
from
the
a
detail.
company or detail.
And I will now say, oh, you know what? So we are buying this. By the time off land, by the time that building is standing in 3 years, let's even say worst case 4 years, you guys are better off because you can decide to sell it, you can decide to rent it,
And you know what?
you can decide to short-let it.
Not to all sell it. A few people out of the 10 can
That want to
exit.
exit, you
Other
pay,
people can buy
it off.
their fraction of that particular house.
Land banking, you can buy. There's no. I will say this for free right now. This 2025.
Yeah.
There's nowhere called far in Lagos again.
Yeah. Agreed.
With the massive infrastructure coming up around the Lagos-Calabar Expressway, Lagos and the Southwest is about to experience an unimaginable movement. So why everybody wants to stay in Lekki? Why will I stay in Lekki when I can stay in Odeomi?
And be in VI in 10
And be
minutes.
in VI in 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes, yeah.
I can decide to go and stay in Ondo and be working in VI. All of us travel around the world now. You can be staying in, you can be living in Kent, Dartford, and you're working in central London. Just pick a time, don't miss your
train.
Don't miss your train, and train come every 15 minutes. You are sure that another 15 minutes, another one will come. If you miss this one, but God help you, you want to have a connecting. That has a time. That for an outside station, you are on your own.
Definitely.
But meaning that if we decentralize it the way we want to do it, I can decide to go and pack my load. I stay around the Lekki. I can decide to go and live in Badagry. I'm coming to VI from there. I can decide to live in Ondo because I saw a land and I love the environment. I decided to live in Ondo and be working.
So, in essence, let me bring this home. Pick what works for you, but by all means, enter into real estate investment. And you can do so as a group.
Co-ownership, land banking, you can do so aggregating even from your family. You can also buy outside town. Buy outside town.
Yes, yeah.
There was a project I bought for someone in 2011. So recently I went to, that's 14 years ago, right? So I went to go and check the land for the person again. Do you know I didn't know the location again?
Because the place has transformed, right?
It has transformed. In short, I've passed in front of the land 3 times. I did not know. Because I was like, there's a tree here. There's a mast here.
And there was no,
they've removed all those, my landmarks.
Your landmarks are taken off.
By the time I got there, somebody is living beside the land.
Yes. And obviously the land that appreciated in
Definitely. Definitely, the land has appreciated. I was like, what? So meaning that Lagos also is not necessary you stay in Lagos.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people are in Lagos right now? If you are conservative, maybe 23 million people.
It's over 20 million, for sure.
So over 20 million.
Yeah.
And Lagos land mass and land space is the smallest in this country.
It's 0.4% of the entire land mass.
Come on.
In Nigeria.
And everybody wants to come to Lagos because the land is green.
The opportunities here.
Yeah, the economic viability of Lagos is tremendous, is mind-blowing, is mind-jobbling, is excellent. Everybody wants to be in Lagos.
Yes.
But again, everybody cannot stay in Lagos.
Right.
So please, let's open up other states. Ogun State is beside us. Open it up.
Those governments, I think, are doing a fair job of making their states attractive.
Yeah,
for
Oyo State is coming up. Move to Oyo.
Oyo is also doing a very good job. A lot of developers are going there, yes.
Move to outside town. Don't come and choke Lagos. It's true now.
Yeah.
Was it not 2 weeks ago? We had just one road that they are doing in Lagos. Independence Road.
Independence Bridge. Yes. And there was chaos everywhere.
A whole Lagos was in total shut. As in total shut down.
Yeah.
From my house to my office is an 20-30 minutes drive. I was in traffic for 6 hours.
Oh my word.
And I was like, I don't understand. Is it not better I go back to the office and call them in my house that I may sleep back in the office because I cannot survive this traffic? And what just happened? So that tells us how Lagos has massively emerged. We cannot ignore any part of Lagos cannot be ignored. And I think right now they've passed the second reading that all the LCDs should become a local government.
Yes.
And trust me, it's a game changer.
It is.
Once that happens, everybody develop. And Close to have the federal government that was giving autonomy to the
local
local
governments,
government.
yes.
Now it's up to the local government to, and I will say to people, hold your people accountable. Hold your chairman, your vice chairman, your councillor, your whatever. Hold them accountable. They have all it takes to develop your local government.
Yes.
And once that goes on, trust me, imagine local government is doing its own,
And
state government is doing its own,
against each other to develop, to grow.
local government is doing its own, council is doing its own,
Yes.
local government is doing its own,
Yes.
state is doing its own, federal is doing
their own.
will be there in no
Yes.
time. And all these things also might be driven down. All these prices of things might come down a little bit. Because if all these places are massively opened up, everybody will move down. And what drives real estate is supply and demand.
It is, yes. It is.
If everybody is want to live in Lekki phase 1, you call a 5-bedroom in Lekki phase 1 30 million naira. It's because 100 people are looking for 50 houses that is there. Now, when there are 50 houses and the people that are looking for the houses are 10, it will force the price
Absolutely.
to go down. And everybody open up.
Once they are able to open everywhere up, like you said.
How did Monastery Road opened up? They opened up November, I think August 16, 2015.
2016.
Yeah, I think it's 2015. Yeah, thereabouts.
Yes.
But see how the singular infrastructure of Novarimo change the narration, the dynamics of that zone. That is where I will now say that infrastructure is key.
Yeah, it is. Infrastructure drives development anyways.
So people, now see what has happened from Abraham Adesanya Junction now all the way to Ekpeti Junction.
Yes.
Meaning that you can be here and you are in Ijebu-Ode in 40 minutes. Because once you get to Ekpe, you are in Ijebu-Ode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you are in Ekpe, you are in Ijebu-Ode.
Absolutely.
So you can decide to be going to your hometown.
So
if you are from
basically, we are seeing the effects of what you just described happen on the Lekki Express corridor. And we are saying that if that same thing can be replicated everywhere in Ogun, in Oyo State, it will decongest Lagos.
You'll be so
sure. Open up massive opportunities.
And I think Ogun State need to do a whole lot right now. Ogun State really need to sit up and do a whole lot.
Okay.
They are neighboring Lagos.
Yeah.
Let's make it work. The interjection is already inside. Sometimes you'll be in Opik on the road. They'll say this is Lagos. This is Ogun.
Yes.
I don't understand on the same street. But the thing is, we just need to reactivate all these conversations and where it's happens to, and private developers might not be able to do it all by themselves. We need the public partnership. It's a private-public partnership thing that will work so that together everybody achieve more. Private practitioners may not be able to do it all by themselves.
Yes.
Right, from the radar, be it from national or to state level or to the zonal level, may not be able to, but there has to be a deliberate partnership from the government, that can make it.
The environment, the means to ensure that private developers can also play their own bit. I totally agree with you.
Sure.
Now, in bringing this whole conversation to a close, I want to talk about, aspiring developers, on how you started, how far you've come. What kind of nuggets would you give a developer or an aspiring developer who wishes to also contribute their own quota in reducing the housing deficit?
Start small, start right. Okay. Start small, start right. Some of us, a professional now was a former amateur. So start small, start right. Learn through the ropes. I see a whole lot right now, and it's a little bit heartbreaking for me.
Okay.
That people are just doing it haphazardly. And everybody is calling themselves developer. And I'm even afraid to call myself developer. Yes, now because you see somebody that have 5 acres or 3 acres is a developer. And
why are you saying 5 acres? 1 plot is a developer already.
Yeah, and I ask, okay, run me through. As it doesn't even understand titling. It doesn't understand the workings.
It doesn't understand land acquisition.
It doesn't understand land
acquisition itself. That's where it starts from.
It doesn't understand a whole lot. And people are going to be entrusting their money into his hands. And voila will happen. They will now put everybody in the same WhatsApp group. That is how they used to do. Developers, fraudster. Especially diaspora people. I handle them with care. More care because developers have had bad name already.
Oh, absolutely.
Should be all of us will travel now. We hear it when they say, "I come and buy a house in Nigeria."
Yeah.
And I feel their pain is because things are actually
You're
gone wrong over
absolutely
time.
right. You're absolutely right.
They've done transaction gone bad, and it's not their fault because if you've duped me once, twice, third time, I'm not coming back now.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'll put all of you in the same group. So start small, start right. Learn through the ropes. Understand the basics.
Yeah.
The basics, some of us paid for the basics through losing money.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
At least we're still having conversation this
About
morning.
that, yes, about experiences.
So learn through the ropes. The job is not hard, but I can bet it will make your life miserable if you take one wrong step. The job is not hard. And you say, "Oh, there's money." I say, "Oh,
No, absolutely, there's money to be made.
yeah, but it's
when you're
relative.
doing it's relative. Doing it unethically,
You've collected money, you spent money, you did not do the work that you're meant to do.
Absolutely.
You are now flaunting around with mobile police up and down, attending parties every weekend. It's not a big deal for me. So you can keep doing what works for you, but my advice is start small, start right.
Right.
Because the name, it's easy to give you a name. One bad turn and one bad transaction can change the trajectory of your life you will not recover from. I know developers in this country that there are some things that happened 2016. They have not recovered now. Now. I know names I can't mention. They have not recovered now till now. I know developer also that went into transaction that had to commit suicide because of a transaction gone wrong. So the thing is this, right? You just need to start small, start right. If you are also for the money, you commit blunder.
You burn out very quickly.
No, you are burnt out already.
Yeah, very quickly.
Because if you think that real estate is a quick rich scheme or quick rich get scheme for you that just want to flex, no problem. You will see the money and you burnt yourself.
You see the money, you see the trouble.
You see, no. The trouble is already by the door. So start small, start right. Don't bite so many things at the same time. Just pick one thing, do it well, move to the other. You're going to learn.
Yeah.
Because what some of us learned when we started, if some people right now jump into that WhatsApp group, they will have resumed somewhere else collecting salary.
Absolutely.
Even some of us feel like going to somewhere now to go and collect salary.
Sometimes it gets that. It gets tough sometimes. When you think about what your cash flows and what you need to expend every week in maintaining the pace on your projects, sometimes it's very, very tough.
It's mind blowing. It's treasure is pressure. So start small. Start small.
Yeah.
Start right.
Right.
And cut your quotes small. Don't go and do oversize suddenly because understand the market.
Yes.
Surround yourself with experts. People have gone ahead of you. Go and learn from them.
Build on the experience of others.
Because if anybody come and ask me now that Alpha,
you have tales to tell.
I have gist for you. Trust me, I have gist for you because the things we have survived in the course of work. The Lagos-Calabar Express just passed like 4 of my projects right now. Now, meaning that you have to have a hard conversation with the people that owns the land. And nobody saw that coming. Imagine that is the only project I have and we have and the
people that's cut through it. My goodness.
Somebody will just dust his visa and run away.
Which is what a lot of people have done.
Yes, now.
Yeah. But it takes resilience. And also a lot of humility to learn those lessons and to move forward.
As a value system for me as a person,
yes,
I'm of the Bible that says that good name is better than gold and silver.
Riches.
Because trust me, it's going to come. But how you respond to it matters.
Yes.
How you respond to it matters. Like I said, if you are all for the money, okay, you die before the death come on. Because it's a whole lot.
What a way to close the conversation. My friend and brother, thank you so much.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to
and we hope that when we call again, you would honor the invitation to continue this conversation.
We will try. It's a pleasure to be here.
MD, Shuttle Real Estate.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
Thanks so very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. All right, and so it's a wrap today. We've spoken a lot. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. Feel free to tag us, put comments down, ask questions, and also we'll be dropping Mr. Toby's contacts also. So if you want to also reach out to him to learn, reach out to him to transact, to converse, I'm sure he'll be more than willing to take you on. So till next time, have a very, very good one. God
Thank you.
bless.